Commanders fans, buckle up. We've got two big stories today. One's about a rookie getting his first harsh taste of NFL reality in preseason, and the other's about a franchise cornerstone whose trade request has the Steelers circling. And before we dive in, don't forget, smash that like button so more Washington fans get this video, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our insider coverage. All right, let's get into it. Every offseason, there's that one undrafted free agent who captures the imagination of fans and coaches alike. For the Washington Commanders this summer, that guy has been cornerback Carlin Vigers, a long, athletic defensive back out of Louisiana Monroe who's been turning heads in camp. He's been the type of player that gets those quiet sideline whispers. Hey, he could make the 53. Coaches have raved about his length, his ball skills, and his willingness to compete. And when you're undrafted, every rep is an audition, every snap could tip the scales. But in preseason has a way of humbling even the most promising prospects. In Friday night's preseason opener against the Patriots, Vigers got a crash course in just how unforgiving the NFL can be. The Commanders as a whole had a rough night. Defense and special teams both got torched in a 48-18 blowout. But for Vigers, there were moments he'll probably be replaying in his head for the next week. The one fans can't stop talking about: that stiff arm from former Washington running back Antonio Gibson. You know the one, the kind that makes the crowd gasp and the highlight reels hum. Gibson caught the edge, extended that arm, and Vigers went flying just enough to make every coach on the sideline wince. Welcome to the league, rookie. And it didn't stop there. Late in the third quarter, Vigers got beat deep by Jeremiah Webb for a 33-yard gain. The coverage? A half-step slow. The recovery? Just not there. On tape, you could see him hesitating around the ball carrier. And in this league, that's split second. Hesitation is the difference between a tackle for no gain and a first down in your territory. Now look, one game doesn't define a career, and the context matters. Fellow corner Noah Igbinoghene, a former first-round pick, struggled too, even missing a critical tackle that set up another Patriots score. That tells you this wasn't just a rookie jitters situation. It was a bad night for the secondary across the board. Still, for a player like Vigers, every preseason game is make or break. Washington will probably keep 5, maybe 6 cornerbacks. Lattimore, Sainristil, Amos, and Jonathan Jones are locked in. Igbinoghene might be the 5th. After that, it's open season. Vigers still has the opportunity to rebound, but he needs to make the next 2 preseason games count. Aggressive tackles, clean coverage, and at least one wow play that forces the coaching staff to take notice. Because in this league, they remember the splash plays. While the rookie's fighting for a roster spot, the other side of Washington's depth chart is dealing with a potential blockbuster. And it's a name every Commanders fan knows: Terry McLaurin. Over the past week, McLaurin officially requested a trade. The frustration's been building for months. Negotiations on a contract extension have stalled, and for a player who's been the heartbeat of this offense for 6 straight seasons, it's a slap in the face. Let's remember who we're talking about here. Since 2019, McLaurin has been the guy in Washington's passing game. Over 1,000 yards in each of the last 5 seasons, a career-high 13 touchdowns in 2024, plus 3 more in the playoffs. And here's the part I can't stress enough: he's been an Iron Man. He hasn't missed a game since 2021. He's played hurt, played through bad quarterback situations, and still produced. This isn't just losing a receiver. This would be losing your tone setter. Enter the Pittsburgh Steelers. Reports say they've already called Washington to check in on McLaurin's availability. No word on an actual offer yet, but the interest is real. And if you look at Pittsburgh's roster, it makes sense. They've got DK Metcalf as their WR1 after that shocking trade earlier this offseason. But behind him, it gets thin. Robert Woods, Calvin Austin. Solid players, but not exactly the kind of supporting cast that scares defenses. And this is a Steelers team that's been unusually aggressive lately, trading for Metcalf, flipping George Pickens to Dallas, even pulling off that Minka Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith blockbuster with Miami for a front office. In win-now mode, McLaurin is the kind of move that says, we're going for it. Now here's where things get tricky for us. From a pure football standpoint, you don't trade Terry McLaurin unless you're getting a haul. I'm talking premium picks and a starting caliber player. From a locker room standpoint, you don't trade him without risking some serious backlash from both the fan base and your quarterback. Jaden Daniels is building chemistry with McLaurin. You take away his security blanket in year 2, and you're forcing him to start over in the most critical developmental season of his young career. Adam Peters has built a reputation this offseason for being aggressive but calculated. He's made big moves, but every one of them has had a clear logic behind it. Trading McLaurin? That would have to be the boldest and riskiest yet. Commanders fans are in an emotional tug-of-war right now. On one hand, you've got an underdog rookie corner, like Vigors fighting tooth and nail to stay in the league, a story fans want to root for. On the other, you've got the possible loss of the team's offensive leader, the guy whose jersey is hanging in thousands of closets across D.C. It's the reminder that the NFL is a business, but one that plays with our hearts every single day. Last season, Washington was the NFL's feel-good story, a relentless, physical, nobody-saw-it-coming run to the NFC Championship game. Dan Quinn brought swagger back to the nation's capital. But if Friday night in Foxborough was any indication, this year's journey is going to have some bumps in the road before the wins start piling up again. No Jaden Daniels, no Terry McLaurin, no Laramie Tunsil, no Deebo Samuel. The Commanders rested most of their top guns after a tough joint practice week. But the result? A 48-18 beatdown by the New England Patriots that left even the backups looking outmatched. Now, we all know preseason records don't matter. But performance? Execution? That matters to Dan Quinn, and he wasn't having it. In the post-game presser, Quinn didn't mince words. All 3 phases I thought it was sloppy tonight. We had 13 penalties. They stacked, and that showed. Sloppiness to me. And the practice was just the opposite. You know how I feel about penalties, so that did not make me happy. 13 penalties, missed assignments, mental mistakes, special teams miscues. It was the exact opposite of the sharp, disciplined practices Quinn had been praising just days earlier. And while fans might write it off as first preseason game jitters, Quinn knows habits, good or bad, start forming now. And there's another shadow hanging over this offense. Terry McLaurin's ongoing contract standoff and trade request. The Commanders' wide receiver room is already thin behind McLaurin and Deebo. If Scary Terry isn't on the field come week 1, Jaden Daniels' arsenal takes a serious hit, and the team loses its most consistent, durable weapon. Quinn didn't dwell on it post-game, but you can feel it in the background. It's not just about cleaning up penalties. It's about making sure the stars are actually there when the season kicks off against the Giants on September 7th. Now, on to the brighter side of Friday night, even if it came with a scare. Rookie, running back Jackery Krosky Merritt has been the feel-good story of training camp. 7th-round pick, East-West Shrine Bowl offensive MVP, overlooked coming out of college, and now finally getting his shot. Fans have been buzzing about him for weeks. With Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler resting, this was Krosky Merritt's big chance to show what he can do under the lights. And early on, he flashed some of that patient, decisive running we've seen in camp. 7 carries, 24 yards behind a second-string O-line that didn't exactly dominate up front. Nothing eye-popping, but you could see the vision and burst. He also caught his lone target for 8 yards, showing he can be a factor in the passing game. Then came the moment fans were dreading, a hard shoulder hit that sent Krosky Merritt to the sideline. You could feel the air leave the room. Here's a guy everyone's been rooting for, finally getting his NFL moment, and suddenly he's standing there holding his arm. Thankfully, the news afterward was reassuring. Nothing serious, just soreness. He's expected to be ready for more work in the next 2 preseason games. This is huge for Krosky Merritt's roster hopes. Right now, he's positioning himself as RB3 behind Robinson and Eckler, and in a league where injuries are inevitable, RB3 can quickly become RB2 or even RB1 for a stretch. The Commanders didn't draft him to be a camp body. They like his balance, his toughness, and his ability to contribute on special teams. If he can stack healthy, productive performances, over the next 2 weeks he could be one of the quiet X factors of this offense in 2025. Dan Quinn's message was clear. The sloppiness has to stop now. Preseason or not, discipline is non-negotiable. And for young players like Krosky Merritt, Carlin Vigers, and others fighting for roster spots, every snap between now and September 7th is a chance to prove they belong. For the veterans, getting McLaurin back on the field and locked in mentally might be the single most important cleanup Quinn can make before Week 1. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you think Carlin Vigers can bounce back and grab that final CB spot? And on the McLaurin front, if Pittsburgh offers a massive package, do you pull the trigger, or is he untouchable? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe to Commanders HQ for all the insider updates you can't get anywhere else. This season's going to be wild, and we're just getting started.